Hi there, Phil here from Radio.co, and in this tutorial I'm going to go over the stats and the reports that you may be analysing on your internet radio station. So what are statistics and reports? Well, first of all, statistics are, well, they're numbers, they're figures, they're showing you how your station is performing because your station is available in a wide variety of ways. It's available all over the world by default. So how can you track your audience? How can you see whether the effort, the time and the money you're putting into this radio station is actually paying off? So let's click on statistics. There we go. And now what you're going to see here is kind of a very vague overview of just some most important stats and figures revolving your station. But what we're going to do is we're going to open up the time that we can see. So you can see stats from what's happened up until now today, the last week, the last 2 months. We're going to look at the last 30 days specifically here. Like so. Now you'll see on this testing on this demo station I have, my station, it's not really been on that long. I use it primarily for testing. But there was a lot of response here on the 27th of June when it was probably myself was listening here. So even though these stats don't really give much away, they still do, these particular stats rather, there are still some important things to take away from here. So the things that you're going to be seeing here are, first of all, total listeners and unique listener. Now, what are either of those? Unique listeners are actual people who are listening to your station, specific IP addresses. So if I start listening to your station now, I am a unique listener. If I start listening to your station later today, I'm still one unique listener. However, I now make up 2 total listeners. I've listened to your station twice off one IP address. I'm one unique listener, 2 total listeners. So in this example here, there's been 1 listener, likely me, and I've listened 3 times to my station within this 30-day period. So that's kind of how it means here. So that's just a way of understanding the numbers there. Peak listeners, pretty self-explanatory. What's the most popular amount of listeners have been tuning in at one given time? So if I had 3 people connecting or 3 streams connecting at this point, and on average, how long is each person listening for? Nearly 7 minutes here. The other information that you will see is, of course, the top countries listed. Of course, I've just got one connection here from the United Kingdom, of course. But if your station is available globally, which of course it is by default, you can geo-protect your station so you can lock it so certain countries can't find it. But otherwise, if it's worldwide, you'll be able to see different countries people are finding in. It will give you as specific information as that person's IP address allows. You'll be able to see what sort of web browsers people are using, what devices. And it's really good information here, particularly with the platform. So you can see here that my listener here has just been listening from their desktop computer. That's fine. Now, you may find that people are using maybe an Apple web browser or an Android web browser and they're listening to your station. Now, what does that information tell you? What it tells me anyway is that, well, people are listening from their Android devices, but not in the most efficient way. They're using Google Chrome on their Android or Safari on their iOS. How do I make that listening experience smoother and better, more worthwhile? I do that by offering them a mobile app to download, an Apple app, an Android app. And with those, of course, they'll then be able to listen to that radio station for longer, smoother. They'll maybe be able to enjoy it a lot more. So that's the sort of information that these statistics are going to give you. We'll also give you the option to look at real-time stats so you can see who's listening right at this very second, again, offering as much information as that user's end allows. You'll see historical information, which is just graphical data just to show you, again, very similar to the overview here. Again, it's not going to show much here because of the limited listeners I've had, but if you've got lots of listeners listening throughout the day, it's a very good piece of information. You'll also be able to see on average what's the most popular time of day across the week people are listening to as well. And there's also a stat here called TTSL, total time spent listening. What is the total number of hours spent listening to your station, basically? And this is the sort of information that licensing providers may be asking you for. They just want to know that, yeah, you are abiding by the limit of listening hours you have promised. So how many hours a day are people listening to your station in total? Of course, my very shortly lived radio station here isn't really generating enough reports there, but it will be chock full eventually. And then we also have reports. The difference between reports is mainly used for licensing purposes. So this is giving you reports of everything that your station is playing within a select period of time. So here you've got recently played. Every time a new track plays, this will be added on. Also have track summary. And again, I'm not going to look at this information over the last 30 days, and it's going to show me everything that's played on this station over the last 30 days. You can see how often these tracks are played here, how many people actually listened to it when it was on. And it's this information that licensing organizations all over the world are going to be using to pay royalties on your behalf. This report can just be downloaded as a CSV spreadsheet, and it can then be emailed off to the appropriate people. So that's the statistics and the reports, really. Statistics are mainly for you, reports are mainly for others, so they can check how often tracks are played, or perhaps you're advertising and an advertiser or a sponsor wants to know how many times their advert has run. Again, the reports are great for that. Well, there we go. That's a bit of an idea on statistics and different ways that you can try and measure whether your station is performing as well as you'd hope to. And for more tutorials like this, why not head to our help centre, help.radio.co. And until next time, take care and happy broadcasting. Want to take your radio station to the next level? Well, here at Radio.co, we don't just specialise in launching new radio stations, but elevating existing ones too. For example, do you have an internet radio station that doesn't seem to be hitting that audience you want? Are you unsure whether the branding or the content you've created is right? Are there just too many industry buzzwords and equipment types that you can't get your head around? Allow me to offer my expertise. For just $50, you can schedule in a 50-minute consultation with me to go through every aspect of your station, with the goal of refocusing and revitalizing your efforts to mold it into something that you're truly happy with. Even if you don't have a radio station or podcast yet, but you'd like some guidance on how to get off to a strong start, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. Don't let stress and small audience numbers get you down. Get in touch via studio@radio.co, and we'll put our heads together to turn this thing around.